in our scriptures, because Hinduism is such an old religion, has been here since the dawn of human civilization. There have been many, many books that came into being. And one of the books, called the Bhagavad Gita, says that Najayate Mriyate Va Kadachin Nayam Budva Bhavita Va Nabhuya Ajo Nitya Shashvatoyam Purano Nahanyate Hanyamani Sharire. It says, it talks about the soul. In the Bhagavad Gita, you want to know about the soul? Everything is there. It tells you about the soul, about God, and about matter. In this world, there are three eternal entities. There's God, who has been here in all eternity. No one created God. It's difficult to fathom that. The soul, again, is eternal. Nobody created the soul. God did not create soul, according to Hinduism. And matter, God did not create matter. These three have been here in all eternity. The difference is that the soul in me and you, we take birth. But God does not take birth. Once you take birth, you have to die. So the soul takes birth using matter, which is eternal. So matter combined with the soul gives us this living body here. And once there's birth, at some time down the line, we will face the same situation where our beloved is. We have to leave this world. But the soul never dies. The soul will continue to reincarnate and to better itself until it reaches that stage which is called moksha or salvation, where it frees itself from this body. Once you take this body, this human body, or as a matter of fact, any body in this world, could be birds, it could be animals, you go through a time of suffering. But in the state of moksha, the soul exists with God, enjoying total bliss, devoid of any pains or sorrows. So in here it says, the soul is never born, nor will it die. So it is eternal by nature. Coming into being and ceasing to be does not take place in it. So there's nothing like it will be created by someone or some entity. It is unborn. It is eternal. Again, that is very difficult to fathom that God, soul, and matter, they're eternal and nobody created them. And the soul is constant, meaning that in me here, you look at me here, when I was younger, when I was in my 2 or 3 years old, I looked completely different. When I become a teenager, I grew up, I become bigger. Then in my 30s, 40s, I start getting gray hair. Then my 50s, 60s, the wrinkles, everything starts to develop. So the body changes, basically. The body changes, this physical appearance of matter. Matter keeps on changing, but matter remains eternal. So when this body is going to be cremated, it is only the body that will be reduced to ashes, and that will go back to earth, and it will come back again. Trees will grow, give you fruits, etc. And it is the beings in this world that will eat the fruits. So nothing is wasted in this world. This entire world is a body of recycling matter. The planetary system that we see out there, they were born at a certain time. A time will come, they say approximately 5.4 billion years is the existence of these systems here. And one day the sun will suck it all in, and there would be a huge explosion where matter is scattered and then will develop into new bodies again, new planets, etc. So that continued existence of matter will be there, and like I said, nothing is wasted. So the soul remains constant. It is only the body changes. As the body changes and becomes old, the soul does not get old. And likewise, your mind that you have within yourself, these are all in our scripture. The mind never gets old. In as much as we become old, we want to do certain things, but the body is saying, no, I cannot jump, I cannot do this. So, the soul is constant, it is ancient because it is eternal, and it is not killed when the body is slain. Example, when the soldiers go into the battlefield and there is some explosion that takes place, the vehicle and the soldiers, the body are being, reduced into different parts. But the soul never get destroyed. As soon as the body becomes functionless, the soul leave the body, and likewise, and our dear beloved father here, to the ripe old age of 93 years, the body cannot sustain, it refuses to function any longer, and so the soul has to take exit and leave this body. There's a beautiful song that I want to sing here. So it says here, as I will bring this to a conclusion, Tujhe suraj kahun kiya chanda, Tujhe deep kahun kiya tara, Mera naam kare garoshan, Jag mein mera rajdular. It says here that when you, my children, came into this world, we tried to figure out what names to give you. And as such, we think about all the beautiful names like the star, the sun, etc. And then we decide to give you all these names as Niri, Prem, Siva, Su, that have beautiful names, meaning towards it. And it says, the day will come when I will depart from this world. And when I depart from this world, those who will see you, my children, will remember that, will say that this is the children of Mr. and Mrs. Maharaj. And that's how his legacy is going to live on, and his name will continue to live on. So now passing on to our master of ceremony, who will continue.
Namaste. Thank you very much, Panditji. Excellent discourse and the excellent questions. Definitely soothing. It's therapeutic for us to know that my dad would definitely want to have his final send-off in that fashion, and I think we're very satisfied with that. Again, as we look at the wonderful pictures, the collage, we can't stop but think about the wonderful memories. It's going to be there for, as Panditji, eternally. Just like the soul, it's not going to be ever depart from us. There's no way. And my dad was such a stalwart for, as Panditji, because he used to go to the Arya Samaj, he used to imbibe a lot of the scripture. And that was basically a directive in his life, how he used to live his life as an example to others. And those teachings are sound. A lot of religions have great sound teachings, all faiths, and that's what we have to take away from that. And he did that for most of his life. And he had excellent parents as an example too. We did not have the fortune of meeting them, unfortunately. They were born in the late 1800s, but they passed on before some of us were born. And but my dad he used to love debates and lots of talks, discussions. Everybody who knows him well knew that. Whether it was my Uncle Chiram, as we saw there, Uncle Tulsi, we used to go at their place and spend lots of time with their family, and a lot of parallels there. They had two sisters and brothers, and two sisters and brothers in our family, so we got along really well. We spent a lot of cherished memories there, building our lives together, and we fortunately did live far from one another. And my dad would I was just thinking, and my dad would get into a lot of these discussions, and he, having his children was a national treasure for him. That was the most important thing, having his wife, everybody there with him. And we'd get into these debates and we talked about, whether it was religion or what. And the biggest thing for him was the truth. And you start talking to him about this and that, and then he would come back and he would always say, Satya Meva Jayate. And that was, that was above anything for him. If you lie, forget it. You had to, have that at the very top, or that should be your very foundation from which you live your whole life. And, do we all say the truth all the time? I don't think we do. We're all human, but, that was paramount for him, and you can ask anybody, that was the most important thing for him above, I think, even being a parent. Sometimes I think, that was part and parcel of who he was, and, he was surrounded by a lot of friends because a lot of good family, they were drawn to him, and that tells you that magnetism was there, and it tells you if you have that, we've met other people in our lives, and that magnetism that's drawn to you is because of something rich, something valuable, something that you want to have in yourself, have in your family, have around you. It's so important, so. But I'm watching the time now, and I know we have a limited number of minutes left here where we're all gathered. And I think we'll take a moment and open up. I'd like to open up the floor to the guests that have attended today. And anyone who wants to come up and share a few sentiments, is probably an opportune time to do it now because as I said at the beginning, the rest of the 5 of us will be making some presentations here. We'll need about counting us for that. So, anybody wants to come forward, by all means.
Good morning to each and every one of you. Firstly, I want to express my deepest and sincere condolences to the immediate and extended family, friends, and whoever was close to him. We all missed him. I have the great opportunity of knowing him for more than 40 years. I lived for about 10, 11 years in the same building with him. I knew him, the whole family, and we had that opportunity to be close to him. I had the greatest admiration and respect for him, for the way he raised his children, for the values he instilled in them, and for which he holds. I'm honored to know him all these years. We maintained a close relationship. Throughout the last few years, because of pandemic and things like that, we couldn't get together as much as we want. But even in the last days of his life, we spoke to him a couple of months ago, and in the last day that he was on his passing, I was there a few hours before he left, and we were able to speak to him. And we knew that he would understand what we said. Because when we removed the sheet went lower, he would pick up the sheet and pull it back on him. So we know that he was well aware of everything that we were saying. And he left. I'm so happy to have known him. He spent 93 years of his life, and whatever time we spent with him, it was really a token of something that I can hold dearly. Because it's always a pleasure to be amongst him. An intelligent man. You can engage in conversations with him that really stop you, and he is really down-to-earth person. His smile, and he has a sense of humor that always have you being so satisfied being amongst him and looking forward to see him. So I want to also thank the Pandit who did such an exceptional job, who gave us so much wisdom and remind us about this life and how we should live and what's our journey in this life as a human being, and our death and all what entails. I'm grateful to be here, to be friends with this family, and though he's gone, he will forever live in our hearts. And I hope that the family here continues to maintain a bond with us as we've always had. My condolences once more.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And Sheen has accompanied him today. Thank you very much for attending our service. Very kind words. Just stimulates the memory banks again about all that over the decades of wonderfulness from both mom and dad, and the time that we cherish with them. So it makes us stronger. I'm telling you, it's very therapeutic. So keep it rolling. It's something very well. So yeah. If anybody else would like to step up to the podium and just share any thoughts or any sentiments. I'll give it a couple minutes here. I'll rest the microphone, and then if no one comes up in a couple minutes, we're going to start with the family members. Are going to eulogize my father. Right, and then we have to start with a prayer. So I'm just going to do a little prayer right now. Actually, before we do that, while we're waiting, if anybody wants to come. Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityoma Amritam Gamaya.
Thank you, Siva, for doing that wonderful prayer. My name is Sue Maharaj. For those of you who can't see me behind the mask or whatever, or don't recognize me after so many years. I would just like to say thank you, Pandit Ramesh, for coming to do this beautiful service. And I have a few words that I want to share with everybody. I promise I won't bore you with silly. Whether you come from around the corner or you are watching online around the world in Canada, Trinidad, USA, or etc., I would like to take this opportunity to thank every one of you for attending today in honor of my father. It is humbling and very much appreciated. Like many amazing fathers, my daughter taught me love, compassion, modesty, morals, human values, etc., which of course molded me into the woman I am today. Thank you, Dad. But long before it was politically correct to do so, he taught me to be tolerant of others, cultures, beliefs, religions, ideals, etc. He taught me to see people for who they are, not to be judged by their skin color, their wealth, their status in life, and so forth. And to this day, those values are with me. Thank you, Dad. Dad was a very content, very simple, and very humble man. I always tell people he had about 25 simple white shirts, all the same. He drove the same car for 30 plus years. He ate very simple, healthy, boring foods. He lived in the same place for about 50 years, and he lived to make all of us happy. Thank you, Dad. Dad had mild to moderate dementia, and while dementia is usually a curse, it has its funny moments too. Like the time I was watching TV and he laughed at a joke on The Simpsons. And when asked if he understood the joke, he shook his head no. And I said to him, oh sorry, and he said, I see you laughing, so I figured it was indeed funny. Or the time at my sister's house when I said, we were talking, and I said, among my friends who are here today, I said, I lost touch, Dad, with so-and-so, this lady here, you know. And then he turned to me and he said, where did you lose her? Thank you, Dad. In closing, oh sorry, forgive me. Dad made countless sacrifices in his life for us, like coming to a new country where he lived when he lived half of his life already with no money and 5 people depending on him. He did 2 jobs and pumped gas in frigid cold temperatures like today, shortly after emigrating from a sunny, hot tropical island in Trinidad. Many people don't know this. Years ago, he came out to the GO train station, and it was freezing rain that afternoon. And he risked himself and his safety just so that when I got to my car, it was ready to go, and I could drive off like nothing happened, and there was no freezing rain on the car, while others struggled to chip away at their cars. He drove back home one night to my cousin's place, and we decided at the last minute to spend the night. And this was like 1 or 2 in the morning, and he drives all the way back home, my Aunt Willow, to get toothbrushes and pajamas, and to drive all the way back to their house, just so we could be comfortable and have our own things at that late hour. Dad took us on multiple driving trips with very little money, or sometimes he took on debt for those vacations just so we could have zany, fun family trips and endless, wonderful memories, which became more priceless when my mom died. In closing, I'd like to share some anecdotes or pearls of wisdom that Dad passed along to me that he found value in. He said, don't ever eat till your stomach is full. Your body will thank you for it. Just eat till you're 70 or 80% full. Trust me, it is the real deal if you follow it. He always used to tell me, Sue, time and tide waits for no man. Time and tide waits for no man. He said, never stoop to someone else's level if they spite you, they hurt you, or do something mean to you. Rise above it. We all know that's easier said than done. He said, live for you within your means. Don't hang your hat where you cannot reach it. He said, show me who your friends are, and I will tell you who you are. And today, that is evident of everybody who is here, online, in person, etc. And the last one, kind of funny, he was adamant about us washing our hands the minute we came home. And, know, we all know what significance that has in today's world, but it's those little things that, you know what, he passed along to us. I just want to say thank you, Dad. Thank you, Dad. I and we were lucky to have you for 93 amazing years, and all your sacrifices, wisdom, love, kindness, support never went in vain. God blessed us with your presence and grace, and today we ask that God take you in his arms and loving care and guide you as you embark on your next journey, which we truly believe and hope is, like Pandit said, moksha, or attainment, with being one with God. Thank you, Dad. We love you. I just want to say one small prayer, like my brother said, and recite it, and then I will give the meaning. Om Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityo Ma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. The meaning of this mantra is: lead us from falsehood unto truth, from darkness unto light, and from death to immortality. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue, for that very meaningful message you have to send for everyone. My name is Davenarayan Maharaj. I'm the eldest son of the family here. Panditji, friends, family, honored guests, thank you for joining us here today in this significant occasion. I'm just going to say some very simple words. Sue has elaborated so far, captured it very nicely. Everyone who's here would know that well enough. I don't have to go into details, so you all have your own life experience with him. Again, he's a man who, we all know, lived a very simple life. He brought us up as children to have very solid cornerstones in how we live our life. So he migrated here with his family from the island of Trinidad back May 1st, 1970. He made a very conscious choice at that time to make sure, again, looking forward for the sake of his family. And we are very, very fortunate to be in a country he made a very good choice. And we are all very grateful to him for why he made that choice. And we'll never look back at that. Moving forward, as I said, his ideals in maintaining a family, ensuring his family was well taken care of. He did all the rightful things as a father. We could never say that he did anything and fell short of that. Dad was, he never had any academic qualifications as such, but many of you would know, despite that, he had a very sharp ability and very eloquent way of expressing himself. The English language was, by all means, he could have taught anyone English and teach anyone English very well. He attained very good standings back home when he was going through his academics. Same with mathematics. So his family and friends might know he even attained, I understand, admissions to a Canadian university from Trinidad when he applied. But life changes happened and he wasn't able to follow through with that. But so although he was a simple man as a bus driver for many, many decades, he did that very well, looked after his family. I would like to say too, Dad as a person, I think as children and even his
just to be like a little bit of a lawyer, because when we ever had to face Dad to seek permission or request his consent to get something, we had to kind of justify why we thought it was the proper thing to do. But nonetheless, it was a good way that we I think it worked out for the best in terms of how it did work out. I would like to say one closing note. Dad lived almost 94 years. March 16th would have been 94th birthday. I could never say we or myself were shortchanged on having Dad, having his blessings throughout his life. So I would like to look at in this occasion as a celebration of his life today, and thank him for his presence in every shape or form that he provided all of us as his children and everyone else that's touched his lives. So that's what I'd like to say, and I appreciate again everyone contributing in the manner that they've chosen to contribute today. Thank you so much.
For all those that know me, my name is Mary, or formerly Nirmala. I want to start off by saying on behalf of our family and our dear friends, I wish to express our sincere gratitude for all the love, support, and kind words, meals that were sent, and just being there throughout this past week. It meant a lot to us. Everybody's presence couldn't be there given the COVID situation, but we all felt your spirit, and I wanted to say a deep, deep thanks to everybody who's given us that support. Gonna start off by saying what Dad always had a famous saying. He would say, "What can I say? What can I say?" And it just, speech won't go out of life, but it's coming from my heart. That Dad has always been a pillar of strength. He's always provided love, guidance, and support. And a lot of this has come from the fact of raising our boys. And I have to really say that a lot of his wisdom I've tried to instill into my boys, because I think it only came from the best of places and the best of hearts. And both him and Mom have always given us that we will carry. And I think for that matters so much more than anything else you can have that's tangible in your life, because you will always take that with you. I always say, you know what, the character, I see Dad as having very sterling character. He was always very content. One thing about Dad was, it wasn't about having a lot, it was just being very content with what you had. And you would make do with what you had. And for that, it's another quality. I always say that in today's world, people are always striving for more and better, which is good. But that sense of contentment is a quality that I will always remember most of my dad. Always remember that. His precious moments, one I will always remember is that he spent a lot of time at our home. He'd come over on Sundays for dinners and we would have long chats. Sometimes the chats would be redundant, but the wisdom that came out of those chats will always stay with us. And those are precious moments that will never ever come away from us. Never ever. I just wanted to say that we want to give him today's his day to say our last thanks to him for everything that he's done to the family and to friends. I know for a lot of you he was like a second dad or a second uncle. And from our hearts, we want to say thanks to everybody. And we really, really appreciate that you were part of Dad's life, because that was one of the most important things to Dad, was having friends and family always around. This is not your final goodbye, Dad, but it's the beginning of your next journey. He was always avid in taking photos, so on your journey, take your long trips, take your photos, and I ask that you send us to these and us in dreams, and give us your warm goodbyes and hugs, and when you reach there, just let us know you've reached. Dad, we will always, always love you.
Thank you very much, Yuri, for two excellent eulogies. Now I'm going to ask my Dharma Patni, my wife, Rekha, to come forward and say a few words. We were a number of years since we were married now. We were very pleasantly, he graced our place there too, even outside, when it was a third party, whereas she will actually expand a little more on that. And then after that, if anybody, again, we have a little time, but we have to move forward with the puja here next to Pandit, so we ask that if you can come up. If not, then if you want to come up after that for a quick puja, that's fine, keep words. Here you go.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? So, those who don't know me, my name is Rekha. I'm the daughter-in-law of late Mr. Davenarayan Maharaj. They say marriage is not only the union of two hearts, it is the union of two families. And that is the reality of my life. In pursuit of building a strong bond, my husband and I introduced each other to the respective families. I still remember my first meeting with my father-in-law, Mr. Davenarayan Maharaj, on August 12, 2012. I immediately was attracted to his pleasing smile and warm gestures. My love at first sight towards my father-in-law rose to greater heights as I started knowing him more. Our 93 years old young man always carried smiles, simplicity and satisfaction in his toolbox. His smile was so contagious, it infected everybody. All my family members and friends got smitten by his smile. And they used to call him, if you know Amitabh Bachchan, my friends used to call him West Indies Amitabh Bachchan. If you ever wanted to know a person who could give richness and beauty to the most simplest things, that was him. For example, he could make you crave for palak paneer with two paneer cubes from Bombay restaurants with his delicious description. He was a man of contentment and made sure to relish every moment with people around him rather than worldly pleasures. Uncle, and I call him Uncle, thank you for showing me the path of simplicity and self-contentment. We will move forward with the courage you provided us to spread the love. A few of my favorite moments with him: savoring delicious Julie mangoes with him, enjoying a scrumptious meal at Bombay restaurant. He used to give me rides to the GO train station. He used to treat me like a doll, I can say. I don't know, because of my height, I don't know what he was thinking. But whenever I used to see him, he used to say, Rekha, I loved it. I really loved it and I miss it a lot. But again, I love him. Wherever he's there, I think he's enjoying his time with his beautiful smile. And also, I used to go spend some time with him. Both of us, we used to sit and watch CP24, his favorite TV channel, and also a detective show, Colombo. He has introduced that show to me. We enjoyed it watching. I always say that he was my father in Canada. I miss him a lot, but at the same time, I wish him all the best in his next journey beyond this world. Uncle, may your soul rest in peace. Thank you everyone for coming. I also wanted to say a few words in Telugu, but I did not bring my script. But ఒక మాట చెప్తాను మా మామగారితో నాకు లైక్ చాలా అభినవ భావ సంబంధం ఏర్పడింది మొదటి రోజు నుండి. సో నేను అదే సంబంధం కంటిన్యూ చేసి ఆయన చెప్పిన మాటలు అందరికీ చెప్పడానికి ట్రై చేస్తాను. థ్యాంక్ యూ ఎవ్రీవన్.
Beautiful words. Thank you very much, Rika. It's now just after 11. I know Energy, we're looking at the clock, and I'm just going to absolutely bring up anyone who wants to volunteer. Well, I'll give a minute, and then after that we'll have to move forward.
Just wanted to make a note that if anybody does come up to the box, you're going to see a very simple box. Understand that the box was not chosen due to a lack of money. This is exactly the kind of simplicity that my father wanted in life. Very simple box, nothing fancy, but it epitomizes how he lived his life and the values that he stood for and what he wanted at the very end. So, and anybody who, you'll have a chance to come up to the box if you are comfortable or if you feel a heavy heart and you don't wish to do so. We totally understand, and for anybody who does, we appreciate that just as well. Thank you.
Sorry, just a quick administrative update. We all apologize that the live feed link was not available as we intended to have available today due to technical difficulties, but I've been assured by the staff here at the site that there is going to be recorded information, basically for the most part, the entirety of this function available afterwards, and the family member will share that with all the respective family and friends later today. So I apologize for the inconvenience there. Thank you.
Going once, going twice. Energy, I'm going to pass it over to you for the proceedings from here.
It's now 11:21, and at this point of time, we want to allow some time for you to say your final respect to our beloved. And so at this point of time, I'll perform what is called the Anti-HD Sanskar, which is the last rites. So I now invite the family members to take their respective seat here. Now in the tropical tropical, like in Guyana, Trinidad, India, etc., the body is being placed on a funeral pyre. And whereupon ghee, samagri are being poured into the fire. So, one moment. So this is called the last rites. And in this part of the war where we don't use a funeral pyre, the Hamakun is used as a symbol, very symbolic of the funeral pyre. So at the end of the word swaha, both ghee and samagri would be poured into the fire. Except for the first five mantra, we will only offer ghee into the fire. So at the end of the word swaha, then we make the offering. Om Agnaye Swaha. Om Sumaya Swaha. Om Lokaya Swaha. Om Anumataye Swaha. Om Swargaya Lokaya Swaha. At this point, both ghee and samagri will be offered to the fire. And we just going to offer a little, not too much. In case we need more, there's some ghee and samagri. These are all our mantras. Om Suryam Chakshusha Gaccha Vatamatmadhyam Cha Gaccha Prithivim Cha Dharmana Apova Gaccha Yadi Tatra Te Hitamushadishu Pratitishta Sharire Swaha. Om Ajo Bhagastapasatam Tapasvatam Te Shuchistapatu Tam Te Archi Yaste Shivastanuvo Jatavedastabhirvahenam Sukritamulukam Swaha. Om Avasrija Punarat स्वधाभिः आयुर्वसान उपवेतु शेषा सङ्कच्छतां तन्वाचात वेद स्वाहा ॐ अग्निर्वर्म परिगोभिर्व्ययस्व सम्प्रोणुष्व पीवसा मेधसा च नीत्वा धृष्णुहर्षा च हृषाणु ददृग्विदक्ष्यन् पर्यङ्कयाति स्वाहा ॐ यं त्वमग्ने समरहस्तमु निर्वापय पुनः कियामुत्र रोहतु पाकदुर्वाव्यकश स्वाहा. These are short mantras now. ॐ प्राणेभ्यः साधिपतिकेभ्यः स्वाहा. ॐ पितृभ्यः स्वाहा. ॐ अग्नये स्वाहा. ॐ अन्तरिक्षाय स्वाहा. ॐ वायवे स्वाहा. ॐ दिवे स्वाहा. ॐ सूर्याय स्वाहा. ॐ दिव्यः स्वाहा. ॐ चन्द्राय स्वाहा. ॐ नक्षत्रेभ्यः स्वाहा. ॐ अद्भ्यः स्वाहा. ॐ वर्णाय स्वाहा. ॐ नाभ्यै स्वाहा. ॐ पूताय स्वाहा. ॐ वाचे स्वाहा. ॐ प्राणाय स्वाहा. ॐ प्राणाय स्वाहा. ॐ चक्षुषे स्वाहा. ॐ चक्षुषे स्वाहा. ॐ श्रोत्राय स्वाहा. ॐ श्रोत्राय स्वाहा. Longer mantras. ॐ सूर्यं चक्षुषा गच्छ वातमात्मना दिवं च गच्छ पृथिवीं च धर्मभिः अपो वा गच्छ यदि तत्र ते तमोषधीषु प्रतिष्ठा शरीरे स्वाहा. You've got about 10 more mantras. ॐ सोम एकेभ्यः पवते घृतमेक उपासते येभ्यो मधुप्रदावति तांश्चिदेवापि गच्छता स्वाहा. ॐ ये चित्पूर्वावृतसाता वृतजाता ऋतावृत ऋषींस्तपस्वतो यमतपूजा अपि गच्छता स्वाहा. ॐ तपसा ये अनाद्भृश्यास्तपसा ये स्वर्ययु तपो ये च क्रीडे महस्तांश्चिदेवापि गच्छता स्वाहा. ॐ ये युध्यन्ते प्रधनेषु शूरासो ये तनुत्यज ये वा सहस्रदक्षिणास्तांश्चिदेवापि गच्छता स्वाहा. 3 final offerings into the fire. Om Sarvamay Punagvam Swaha. Om Sarvamay Punagvam Swaha. Om Sarvamay Punagvam Swaha. Everything goes into the outer part that you have here. Om Sarvamay Punagvam Swaha. We shall now put our hands together and we will chant the peace chanting. We pray that may there be peace in the heavenly regions, may there be peace on earth, may the waters be free from contaminants, May the herbs of the tree be beneficial to us. May there be peace in this beautiful country of Canada. May our society be in peace. May there be peace in our homes. May there be peace within our families. May there be peace within ourselves. And may the soul of our dear beloved have a peaceful transition to the next world. Om Dhyau Shanti Antariksham Shanti Prithvi Shanti Rapah Shanti Roshadaya Shanti Vanaspataya Shanti Vishvedeva Shanti Brahma Shanti Sarvam Shanti Shanti Deva Shanti Sama Shanti Reti Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We can have a bhajan from Shriman Chitta. We invite you to come and make a presentation of a bhajan. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the last ceremony that one does. There are 16 sanskars altogether, or impressions, or rituals in one's life. There's like when the child is born, we take the hair off, we give the child a name, then there are more sanskars in between, but the other major one is that that person gets married, and there are other sanskars as well. But this final sanskar, this is the only sanskar that the person, the deceased, cannot take part in. And so we, the living, and the loved ones here, they're doing this sanskar to send him off in an honorable, respectful manner. So if we could have Mr. Jitta to give us a bhajan, please come forward. After that, we're going to invite you, the guest here, that you're the people that have taken your precious time off to come here today in the midst of COVID. We also like to thank the staff, the management, for all your support that you have given us, this family here. We thank you very much.
माखन चो
पनघट पे मोरी भैया मरोड़ी, भैया मरोड़ी रे भैया मरोड़ी। पनघट पे मोरी भैया मरोड़ी, मैं बोली तो मेरी मटकी फोड़ी। पैया पड़ो करो विनती मैं पर, पैया पड़ो करो विनती मैं पर। मान लो एक मोरी रे, सुध बिसरा गया मोरी रे। वो काला एक बांसुरी वाला। चुप गए वो फिर एक तान सुना के, तान सुना के रे तान सुना के। चुप गए वो फिर एक तान सुना के, कहाँ गयो एक बाण चुरा के। गोकुल ढूंढा मैंने मथुरा ढूंढे, गोकुल ढूंढा मैंने मथुरा ढूंढे। कोई न करिया न छोड़ी रे, सुध बिसरा गया मोरी रे। वो काला एक बांसुरी वाला, सुध बिसरा गया मोरी रे, सुध बिसरा